Most people in the roofing business think financial independence is just a pipe dream. But what if I told you I'm about to show you my exact roadmap to quit the hamster wheel in just 5 years? Hey everybody, I'm Mike with Roof Money Pro, and my mission is to help roofing professionals to maximize their careers and build wealth. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on my personal 5-year plan to financial independence. We're talking real numbers, real strategies, and the 3 pillars that'll get me there faster than most people think possible. Now, 2 years ago, I was on the road to my first appointment, a 2-hour drive away, and then would be followed by an hour drive to each of the 3 meetings I had that day. And then finally, a 2-hour drive back. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this business and the company I represent, but something hit me that morning. I realized I was trading my time for money, and time was the one thing I couldn't get back. That's when I started asking myself the hard questions. What happens when my body can't climb into hot attics and on top of roofs anymore? How long will I be willing to spend hours driving across Central Texas to make appointments? What if I get hurt and can't work for months? In fact, we had 2 sales reps fall and break their legs within a month of each other a couple years ago. I've had plenty of close calls myself. These weren't fun thoughts, but they were necessary ones. The roofing industry has been good to me, really good. But relying on just one income stream from physical work felt like building a house on a shaky foundation. I needed a plan that would give me options, security, and the freedom to choose how I spend my time. Let me be completely honest about my starting point because transparency matters. My household expenses run about $49,000 a year. That might sound high or low depending on where you live, but it's my reality. The good news? I already generate $13,000 in passive income annually. Here's what I've got working for me right now. First, my primary residence is completely paid off. I know some financial gurus say you should leverage everything, but having a paid off house gave me peace of mind and freed up cash flow for investing. Sometimes the psychological benefit beats the mathematical optimization. Second, I own a fourplex that's been my introduction to real estate investing. This property isn't great, but it's self-sustaining. It wasn't easy getting started, but that first property taught me more about real estate than any book or course ever would. But here's the thing, $13,000 in passive income against $49,000 in expenses means I'm still $36,000 short of true financial independence. That gap is what my 5-year plan is designed to close. Now, the first pillar of my plan involves something I'm already passionate about, helping other roofing professionals build wealth. I'm launching a financial coaching business specifically for our industry because let's face it, most financial advisors don't understand the unique challenges we face. As a former licensed financial advisor, I can tell you from firsthand experience this is true. Think about it. We deal with seasonal fluctuations, weather delays, material cost swings, and cash flow challenges that office workers never experience. We need financial strategies and a community that accounts for these realities. My coaching business will focus on 3 main areas. First, helping roofers get crystal clear on their objectives. I'm not talking about a 20 to 30 year vision. I'm focused on what they want to accomplish in the next 12 months and making sure they have a solid foundation by breaking that down into actionable milestones. What this means is that I'll teach them cash flow and investment strategies that work with irregular income. When you might make $15,000 one month and $3,000 the next, traditional budgeting advice just doesn't cut it. You need systems that can handle feast or famine cycles. The system I've developed is the one I've used in my own roofing sales career that allowed me to double my income, triple my net worth, and pay off my home of $175,000 in just 16 months. All of this will be available in downloadable courses, group discussions, and one-on-one coaching. The real benefit is that I'll help roofers transition from trading time for money to building passive income streams. This is where real wealth gets built, and it's something most people in our industry never learn. The beauty of this business model is that it aligns perfectly with my mission and values. I'm genuinely helping people while building another income stream. Freedom is most important to me, and this will allow me to gain more control over my time. Plus, I can do it from anywhere. All I need is a computer, a camera, and an internet connection. I'm projecting this coaching business to generate between $150,000 to $300,000 annually by year 3, and possibly scaling to 1 million a year by year 5, depending on if I want to take on additional coaches and staff. Now, the second pillar of my plan is where things get exciting. I'm planning to acquire 3 to 5 investment properties over the next 2 to 3 years using the BRRRR method. For those of you who haven't heard of the BRRRR, it stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Here's how it works in simple terms. You buy a distressed property below market value, fix it up, rent it out to generate cash flow, then refinance based on the new higher value. The refinance is key because that's where you pull out most or all of your initial investment, which you then use to buy the next property. The genius of BRRRR is that you can build a portfolio without constantly adding new money. Your initial investment keeps recycling from property to property. It's what I call capital velocity, and it's kind of like compound interest on steroids. As a full-time investor, I can't afford to have my capital tied up in one deal that gets paid back over a 10-year period. I need velocity, which means I'm choosing to only pursue options that give me back my investment within 6 to 12 months max. My target is to acquire 1 to 2 properties per year for the first 3 years, then shift my focus to another area of my investment plan. Each property should generate roughly $350 to $500 in monthly cash flow after all expenses. That's about $4,200 to $6,000 per year per property. So let's do the math. 5 properties generating on average, let's say $5,000 each, gives me $25,000 in additional passive income. Combined with my fourplex income, I'm looking at over $35,000 in real estate cash flow alone. But here's where my roofing background becomes a massive advantage. I understand construction. I can spot problems that other investors miss. And I have relationships with contractors who can do quality work at fair prices. This isn't just theory for me. I know how to evaluate properties and manage renovations efficiently. The key is finding the right deals. I'm focusing on properties that most likely need major cosmetic work and possibly structural repairs. Think outdated kitchens, old flooring, adding rooms, paint jobs, and roofs. These improvements add significant value, resulting in higher appraisals when it comes to refinance. Also, in order to get these properties at a steep discount, I'm dealing with problems other people might not want to or know how to solve. This is when being in roofing sales is another huge advantage. I can meet with people who are in tough situations where they have bigger financial issues than just getting a new roof. Or maybe they inherited a property they didn't want or expect, and I can help them out where it's a win-win. The third pillar involves building a dividend-focused investment portfolio. While real estate provides excellent cash flow, I want diversification across different asset classes. Dividend stocks offer liquidity that real estate doesn't. Plus, they require zero management once you own them. My strategy focuses on dividend aristocrats, companies that have increased their dividends for at least 25 consecutive years. These are businesses with proven track records of generating consistent cash flow through good times and bad. I'm targeting companies like Johnson & Johnson in healthcare, Coca-Cola in consumer goods, and realty income in REITs. These aren't sexy growth stocks, but they're reliable income generators that help me sleep well at night. My plan is to invest about $250,000 in dividend stocks as quickly as possible, which equals about $15,000 annually, assuming a 6% payout. The beautiful thing about dividend investing is the compound effect. Not only do the dividends grow over time, but I'm reinvesting them to buy more shares, which generates more dividends. It's like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and faster as it goes. Now let me walk you through how this all plays out year by year, because seeing the progression makes it real. Year 1 is about laying the foundation. I launched the coaching business and I expect to generate about $10,000 to $15,000 in revenue while I'm building systems and finding new clients. Now, I'm not expecting to run out the gate at this level, but this is the target. I then acquire my first BRRRR property, which should add about $5,000 in annual cash flow. By year 2, the coaching business grows to $20,000 to $40,000 a month as word spreads and I refine my systems. I add a second and third rental property for another $5,000 in cash flow each. Year 3 is where momentum really builds. I acquire 1 or 2 properties and the coaching business scales with the help of either bringing on new coaches to accelerate growth or stabilizing to the higher 6 figures by deciding to stay solo. I'm starting to see serious progress towards the financial independence number. This is the year I plan to move out of the country. My sweetheart and I are still throwing around ideas, but the island of Cozumel or possibly going overseas to Portugal are at the top of our list. We're not set on being permanent residents, just getting a change of scenery. Years 4 and 5 are all about acceleration. I'll use my active income, rental income, and existing investment capital to start seriously funding my dividend portfolio, as this will become a meaningful contributor to my passive income. My goal is to scale my dividend investments to between $250,000 to $500,000 as quickly as possible, and again, aim for that 6% dividend. By the end of year 5, here's what the picture looks like. The coaching business is self-sustaining and generates high 6 figures annually. 5 rental properties producing about $35,000 in cash flow, and dividend portfolio throwing off about $15,000. Now, I'm not naive enough to think this plan will go perfectly. Real estate markets can shift, tenants can be difficult, and economic conditions change. The coaching business might take longer to build than I expect, or competition might be tougher than anticipated. We're not getting into the nitty-gritty of taxes either. This is a high-level vision that I can then put some numbers to in a spreadsheet and create formal projections. The point is to visualize first, make it real in your mind, put some numbers to it, and then that will give you confidence to have a plan that you can then follow week in and week out, month after month. But that uncertainty is also why I'm building multiple income streams instead of putting all of my eggs in just one basket. If real estate slows down, I can focus more on coaching. If the coaching business struggles, real estate and dividends keep paying. Also, the current cash reserves I have earmarked for real estate can support my lifestyle for 2 years. And honestly, my wife's income alone could cover our current household expenses. Diversification isn't just about investment types, it's about income sources too. I'm also keeping my roofing sales income running during this transition. It provides the cash flow to fund these investments, creates a ramp for my business, and gives me flexibility if any part of the plan takes longer than expected. Now, what makes this plan particularly powerful for people in our industry is that it leverages our existing skills and knowledge. We understand construction and property values. We know how to manage projects and work with contractors. We're comfortable with calculated risks and hard work. The seasonal nature of roofing actually works in our favor for real estate investing. Those slower winter months gives us time to find deals, manage renovations, and handle property management tasks. Instead of stressing about slow periods, we can use them productively. The coaching business builds on the relationships and reputation I've already established in the roofing community. People trust advice from someone who's actually done the work and understands their challenges. I hope the biggest takeaway I leave you with is that the biggest change isn't the strategies, it's how you think about money and time. Instead of just earning money, you need to start thinking about how to make money work for you. Instead of trading hours for dollars, you build systems that generate income while you sleep. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It took me years to understand that wealthy people don't just work harder, they work differently. They build assets that produce income, whether it's their own business, real estate, or stocks, rather than just earning wages from their labor. The roofing business taught me the value of getting more creative to solve problems. But building wealth requires smart work too. It's about following systems that scale beyond your personal time and effort. If this resonates with you, here's how to start your own journey to financial independence. First, get crystal clear on your numbers. Know exactly what you spend each month and what passive income you currently generate. You can't manage what you don't measure. Second, pick one area to focus on first. Don't try to build a roofing business, buy rental properties, and start dividend investing all at once. Master one pillar before adding the next. Third, educate yourself relentlessly. Read books, listen to podcasts, and learn from people who've already achieved what you want. Knowledge is the foundation of wealth building. On average, I drive 3 hours between my commute to work, home, and making roof inspections. That's 15 hours a week, which is 780 hours a year. That's enough time to get a college degree. I'm a big believer in the idea of automobile university and turning my mindless drive time into productive learning time while listening to audiobooks and podcasts. Fourth, start small, but start now. Buy your first rental property, make your first dividend investment, or sell your first roof replacement. Perfect plans executed poorly beat perfect plans that never get started. It will be a messy process from time to time. Just learn to accept that. In 5 years, I won't need to climb on roofs if I don't want to. I have the freedom to choose projects I'm passionate about rather than jobs I need for the paycheck. I can spend more time with family, travel when I want, and sleep well knowing my financial future is secure. That's what financial independence really means, having options. It's not about never working again. That's just not in me. It's about working because you want to, not because you have to. The roofing industry has given me the skills, work ethic, and most importantly, the capital to build this plan. Now it's time to execute and create the financial freedom that most people only dream about. This isn't just my plan. It's a blueprint that any motivated roofer can adapt for their own situation. The numbers might be different, the timeline might vary, but the principles remain the same. Build multiple income streams, leverage your existing skills, and let compound growth work its magic over time. The next 5 years are going to pass whether you build wealth or not. The question is, what will your financial picture look like when they're over? If you found this breakdown helpful and want to see more content about building wealth in the roofing industry, be sure to hit that subscribe button and check out my next video about the biggest financial mistakes I see roofers making. See you there.